What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and in today's video, you're going to come along with a ride with me, and we're going to build some parlays together. It's been a while since I've done the BAPs, been a long time. So I want to dedicate this video just to the BAPs, and why is that? Well, on the WNBA, I've been a little bit conservative with my best bets. If you're interested in checking out my best bets, check the other video that I've already made. But there are a lot of other players where I had a pretty good lean on. I didn't want to bet a whole lot on these two games. It's the playoffs after all, and one bad day can absolutely destroy you. So I decided to create this video. We're going to build these parlays, my BAPs. And basically what a BAP is, we take a line that we think is going to hit, and we reduce that number down for safety, and we put a whole lot of those things together, and we get these juicy parlays. So we'll do one for each game, and then we'll put those things together, and then hopefully it'll be something that we can all ride. It's a whole lot of fun. Let's build them all together. I'll be sharing my screen through Outlier. I'll take you through the whole process of everything. Now, in terms of sports books, let me show you what we're working with. So in terms of sports books, we're going to be using, well, I'm going to be using this. It's called Sportsbet. I think the people who own FanDuel are the ones who own Sportsbet. Could be wrong, but this is very similar to FanDuel in the US. So I'd encourage you guys to use something like that. Any sports book you like, but I'll be using this to build these bitch-ass parlays on. And we'll also be using this, which you're all familiar with. This is Outlier. So I'll let you know what kind of filters we have on Outlier first. I've got this set to Fever versus Sun. That's the first game I'm going to look at. The key props that we're looking at: assists, points, rebounds, and three-pointers. If you're doing a BAP, you don't want to do anything more than that. You only want to do them for overs. Alternate lines are difficult to get for unders, so we only have it on overs. And for the odds, I've set these to minus 333 to minus 150. Because if you're getting odds better than that, you might consider just running it straight. Whereas if you're playing a parlay, you got to get a little bit crazy with it. So safer odds. And I've also flicked this tab, show all lines. So it's going to give us all the different lines that are available. But without further ado, let's start getting into it. So it's the Connecticut Sun versus the Fever. I think the Fever are going to be better in this game. They'll keep it closer, but I think they still ultimately lose. So for this bitch-ass parlay, we want to get something with an excellent hit rate as of late on the season, head-to-head, and ideally, if it's got a good matchup. And the good thing about Outlier, it's going to do all that for us. Look, it's already starting off here. Aaliyah Boston over 1.5 assists, minus 290 odds. And I believe this is available in FanDuel by the looks of it. I hope it's available in my sports book, but let's talk about it. If we were looking at just 2 assists, you can see that she's hit that in 8 straight games against the Connecticut Sun. She's hit 2 assists. If we look at her last 10, she's hit 2 assists in all of those games. If we look at the matchup, this team actually allows the most assists to centers, 3.3 per game. So Leah Boston to get 2 assists might be the first leg. Now, feel free to jump in the comment section. If I may have missed something, you can let me know. But let's take a look. And the lowest I can get is 4 assists in this game. Well, that sucks. Hang on. Same game parlay. What are they giving me? Assist markets. Yeah, the lowest I can get here is 4 assists, and it's only Mabry. So it's a little bit limited. But Aaliyah Boston would have been a great first leg, 2 assists. So if something that you can get might be something you want to jump on. But let's keep moving along, see what else we can find. In terms of head-to-head hit rates, we've got Marina Mabry, 14.5 points. Now, her line's only 16.5. So this 14.5 is at minus 155. She's hit this in 9 out of 10 games against the Fever. She's only hit this in 6 out of her last 10, though. So realistically, 10 points is what we'd be looking at. Would be better, but that's minus 800. It's not the type of odds that we're looking for this BAP. So we might have to pass on that. Let me see what types of odds I'm getting. Yeah, it's not that great. Minus 800. It doesn't fit the criteria, unfortunately. So let's move on. We've got Alyssa Thomas to get 9.5 points. So, well, 10 points, really. So the hit rate on this is excellent up against the Fever. She's hit this in 8 out of her last 9 games against the Fever, 4 out of 5 games this season. The matchup is good. The Fever bleed points to almost every position but centers. Looking at her last 10, she's only hit this in 4 out of the last 10, though. But a lot of this back-end regular season stuff doesn't necessarily matter. And given the strong hit rate against this team, I might be compelled to play Alyssa Thomas for 10 points. Now, let me check to see what types of odds I'm getting on it, though. And it's pretty good. Decent odds, yeah. Okay. So Alyssa Thomas, that's our first leg for this BAP for her to score 10 points. Let's jump back out and see what else we can find. Marina Mabry for 3 rebounds. I doubt I'm going to be able to get that, but that's available in FanDuel. That's hit in the last 5 games, and it's got a pretty strong hit rate against the Indiana Fever. You can see it's 7 out of her last 9 games against them. She's covered 3 rebounds. In her last 5 games, she's hit 3+ rebounds in all of them. So her recent form is pretty good. In terms of matchup, the Fever sitting 6th in terms of rebounds allowed to guard. So Marina Mabry at 3+ rebounds could be a good look if you can get that. I know that I can't get that. The lowest rebound total I can get is for 4 rebounds, and that's a plus money play for Mabry. So, but yeah, over 2.5. I think that's a good leg if you can add it. Let's keep moving along here. But Dejanay Carrington over 3.5 rebounds, and I know I can get this. -137. She's hit this in 7 out of her last 9 games against the Fever. 6 straight games. So that means 5 games this year she's hit this, which is pretty good. If we look at her last 10 games, she's hit this in 8 out of her last 10, 5 straight games. Dejanay Carrington's covered 4 rebounds. And if we look at her last home games, she's covered 4.5 in 4 out of her last 5, but she's covered 4+ rebounds. That's what we're looking at here in every home game. So Dejanay Carrington, we can take a look at her for 4 boards. Let me add that to the cart. So just Dejanay Carrington for 4 rebounds, Alyssa Thomas for 10 points. I'm already at +120 here. I can show that to you right here. So Thomas for 10 points, Carrington for 4 rebounds. $2.20 equates to +120 for those of you guys in the US. So we've already got a plus money play with just those 2. So let's see what else Outlier can deliver for us in this game. We've got Alyssa Thomas to get 7.5 rebounds. Now, this I'd be a bit hesitant on, but let's talk about it. Against the Fever, she's hitting 7 out of her last 9. The matchup is difficult, apparently. The Fever allow the second fewest rebounds to forwards on the season. Looking at her last 10 games, she's hit this in 6 out of her last 10, averaging 7.6. So I do think this is a little bit risky. She does have an excellent hit rate. I don't know if I'd be down to play 10 points and 7.5 rebounds for Thomas because her points is very much the same. If we looked at the 9.5 points, I believe, smashed it against the Fever, but then if you look at her last 10 games, have been somewhat inconsistent. So I don't want to have too many plays where there isn't enough correlation. So I think for Thomas, I'll just ride the points and I'll leave the rebounds alone, regardless of how good that hit rate is against that team. Next, we've got Alyssa Smith over 5.5 points. I know I'm not gonna be able to get 5.5 points. I'd have to get 10. All right. Rebounds over 4.5 rebounds. Now, Alyssa Smith didn't play many minutes in that last game. She got 1 rebound in it. She only played 8.9 minutes. I don't know if it was ineffectiveness on the floor. So, given the minutes may not be there, I don't think I'll fuck around with her rebounds. Next, we've got Dawana Bonner over 4.5 rebounds. I was sharing the wrong bloody page. There we go. Dawana Bonner over 4.5 boards. 6 out of her last 9 games against the Fever, but she's hit this in 3 out of the 5 games against them this season, and only in 5 out of her last 10. So somewhat inconsistent, and the matchup is somewhat difficult when it comes to rebounds. She did get 6 rebounds in that last game against the Fever, but the Fever probably aren't going to shoot that bad again. So I'm not ready to take her rebounds. She's also the key defender on Caitlin Clark. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it may mean she's out of position. This could be a good one. Sexy Lexi Hull, over 3.5 rebounds. She's hit this in all 3 games against the Connecticut Sun this season, 4.86. If there's one thing this girl does well is rebound. The other thing is shoot 3-pointers. But rebounding nicely there. Looking at her last 10 games, she has had 4 rebounds in 7 out of her last 10. This Connecticut Sun team apparently only gives up rebounds to centers, but tell that to Lexi Hull because she'd be eating those boards as a late. So she got over 29 minutes in that game. Let's just run her minutes. Whenever she gets over 28 minutes in this season, she's had 11 games where she's played more than 28 minutes. She's got 4 rebounds in 9 out of the 11. Now, this Connecticut Sun team, I don't expect them to shoot as well, so there might be more rebound opportunities. You can see she gets a lot of offensive rebounds, though. 47% of her rebounds are offensive. 53% of them are defensive rebounds. But Lexi Hull at 4 boards, I think I can get around that. Let me take a look. Hopefully it's available, and it is. Check this out. Now we're up to plus 230 from just these 3 players. Now that's a bitch-ass parlay. Now, her rebound line is probably at 4.5, but, we're doing a bitch-ass parlay, and this is how it goes. So Lexi Hull, I think, is a pretty good look. Let's see what else is delivering here. Marina Mabry, over 1.5 3-pointers. So for her to make 2 threes, she's hit this in 6 out of her last 9 against the Fever. She's played them twice since she joined the Connecticut Sun. She's lit them up for 4 and 5, absolutely killing them. The matchup is a nightmare. So, yeah, 3-pointers feels like an absolute steal. Her actual line's at 2.5, and it's plus money. I bet this last time they played each other and it cashed. I'm curious to why I didn't bet it again, run it back, but I think I'm more worried about the Fever potentially making some adjustments on Marina. But 1.5 I can get around. Check this out. 7 consecutive games now. She's hit over 1.5 3-pointers made. She's taken on quite a few. We're looking at 7, 8, 9, 4, 8, 3, and 12 attempts. So it's a whole lot of attempts. Now, this Fever team is going to give up a whole lot of attempts regardless of what adjustments they make. So Marina for 2 3-pointers, I think I can get behind that. Let's just see what type of odds I'm getting on these, because sometimes this 3-point market, they don't give you great odds for them. Yeah, so this $1.30, yeah, that's not nice. So what $1.30 translates to is minus 333, which is, I guess that's the minimum that I was willing to take. But see how with a lot of these US books, yeah, see, oh, that's Prize Picks. Can you get Marina Mabry at 1.5 on Prize Picks? That's great. All right, so FanDuel and DraftKings, yeah, they're the types of odds that I'm getting as well. So I'm going to take that. But if you're watching this, and if you can get Marina Mabry for over 1.5 3-pointers on Prize Picks, I would take that immediately. That's a massive plus EV play. Damn, that's crazy. And I'll show on the wrong page again. Let me show you. So these are the odds on the different books. FanDuel and DraftKings, minus 330. That's the type of odds that I'm getting on my book. Prize Picks will give you Marina Mabry at minus 137. So if you do use Prize Picks, Marina Mabry over 1.5 3-pointers is an excellent look. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that and add this to our bitch-ass parlay. So we've got 4 players on there now. Alyssa Thomas, Dejanay Carrington, Lexi Hull, and Marina Mabry. And odds are up to plus 333. So we are definitely cooking here. Let's see what else we can find. Alyssa Smith, I'm not interested. So the rest, the hit rates aren't necessarily great on them. The other filter that we can muck around with, if we're not looking just at the head-to-head filter, we can look at the 2024 filter. So it gives us pretty much their whole season. How often do they hit this number on the season? We've already got Carrington's rebounds. We know Alyssa Smith. Her minutes probably aren't going to be there. We've got Marina Mabry for over 1.5 3-pointers. So it all checks out. We've got Caitlin Clark for over 4.5 rebounds. The problem here is she doesn't rebound very well against his Connecticut Sun team. So I'll have to pass on that. We've got Brianna Jones for 4.5 rebounds. The hit rate on that is excellent, but she doesn't rebound well against this Indiana team. Same as her points. So we're going to have to pass on all those. And then the last way I'd filter this is just looking at the last 5. Let's check the recent form. And we're seeing very much of the same. We've got Kelsey Mitchell over 17.5 points, minus 205. So she's hit this in 4 out of her last 5 games, 9 out of her last 10 games. But she's only hit this in 4 out of 9 games against Connecticut. She's hit this in 2 out of 5 games against Connecticut this season. But after the Olympic break, she was an absolute beast. So maybe at 15 points, what are we looking at here? At 15 points, we'll look at minus 430. The odds might not be good enough. But again, if this Prize Picks, oh, this must be like goblin bullshit, right? That's what that is, right? Now we're on the same page. So FanDuel, DraftKings, minus 475. I think those odds might be too low for us to bap it up. Yeah, if I take a look at it, it does take our parlay up to plus 475. Let me just convert the odds that I'm getting. I'm getting minus 500 for Kelsey Mitchell to get 15. So I'm getting worse odds than FanDuel and DraftKings are giving. So I do like it, but why take on the extra risk? You know what I'm saying? So I have to pass on Kelsey Mitchell's 15 points there, but it was an interesting look. And then as we go down the line, there's nothing else that satisfies the criteria I've set for this BAP. So let me show you what we've got right now. And this is my sports bet. So if I add this to the slip, you can see Alyssa Thomas for 10 points, Dejanay Carrington for 4 rebounds, Lexi Hull for 4 rebounds, and Marina Mabry to get 2 3-pointers. That's $4.33 for me. If I convert that to American odds, we're looking at plus 333. So it's pretty juicy. Now, in terms of how much I would bet on these, honestly, I wouldn't bet this way at all, but this is probably the most fun way to bet. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So at these odds, I'd probably be looking at a half a unit play. But before we lock this in, I want to do another one for the other game. And then we can potentially look to bet them both and put them together. We've got the Phoenix Mercury versus the Minnesota Lynx. So we'll keep the same filters that I already have. The only thing we're going to change here is the game. And then we're going to prioritize the head-to-head filter. So to know that these players are eating against this team could give me a little bit more confidence. So the first one here is Napheesa Collier, over 7.5 rebounds. She's hit this in 7 out of 9 games against the Phoenix Mercury. That last game that they played, she only finished on 6 rebounds. But keeping in mind, there was 197 points scored in that game. Like, it was difficult for anybody to get rebounds and cover their line. So there's that. The Mercury, they also allow the most rebounds per game. They allow the third most rebounds to forwards. And if we look at her last 10 games, she's hit this in 7 out of her last 10. So I don't hate this. I don't like betting on Napheesa Collier that much. I will tell you that. But look, it fits the criteria. Minus 240, Napheesa Collier over 7.5 rebounds. How do we say no? It's a bitch ass parlay after all. Let's not bitch it. So I'll add it to the slip, and who knows, we might get heaps of plays on it, and we won't need Napheesa Collier in there. But we'll see where we land. The next one we have is Kayla McBride, over 2.5 assists. Now, I already know the lowest one I can take is 4 assists, so probably this one doesn't work for me, but the 2.5 assists looks great. She's hit this in 6 straight games against the Phoenix Mercury. Last 10, she's only hit this in 50% of the games. This Mercury team does give up a whole lot of assists, though. So I know I can't add Kayla McBride. Looking at what's available in my sports book, I can only get her for 2 assists or 4 assists. And the 4 assists is plus money. And the 2 assists for me is $1.20. And $1.20 converts to minus 500. So it's a bit out of our criteria. It does take the odds up a little bit. I wonder. So some of you guys will get minus 450 on this. Right. So for Kayla McBride to get 2 assists, she's hit this in 34 out of 41 games this season. And in head-to-head matchups, well, obviously she's hit them recently against them. So last 10, she's hitting 80% of her games. So Kayla McBride, look, it can push our odds up a little bit, but I don't necessarily love it. So we'll have to pump the brakes on Kayla McBride. If we need to add an extra leg, we know that we can go back. We've got Kelsey Mitchell, we've got Kayla McBride, we can add on for a little bit more. Let's see what else we got popping here. Kalia Copper for 4 rebounds. And this was actually one that I was thinking about. Her line's at 4.5, but that's pretty much plus money. So at 3.5, I might be able to dance with it. So she's hit this in 4 straight games against Minnesota, 6 out of her last 8 games against them. Minnesota's only weak spot is rebounding. She's also hit this in 8 out of her last 10. Man, I think Kalia Copper's in. I'm just going to pause this recording real quick. I've got a baby crying. I'll be back with y'all in a minute. All right, we are back, and I know baby's going to be crying any minute now again because that's what they're like. But where were we? Kalia Copper, over 3.5 rebounds. I do like this, and I do like the odds that we're probably going to get for it too. Great addition to the bitch-ass parlay. So let's add Kalia Copper in here. Oh, excellent odds. $1.72. So that's, yeah, that might be good enough to play as a straight bet. Minus 138. You know what? Screw it. I think it's a good look. 4 straight games against Minnesota. There's going to be a few rebounds to go around because keeping in mind, Minnesota scored 102 points on the Mercury in that last game. Even if the Minnesota destroys them, they're not going to shoot better than that, surely. So Kalia Copper, I'm willing to dance on the 4 rebounds with her. Let's see what else comes up. Natasha Cloud over 9.5 points. Matchup is difficult, but she's got it done. Really. Check this out. 3 straight games. Now, I do have Natasha Cloud over her points line as one of my straight bets, so I don't want to add this to the bitch ass parlay. But feel free to do it if you want. I think it's a great look. Kalia Copper over 14.5 points. I think her line's at 16.5, so moving it down a little bit. And based on her recent form, it's going to be a bit of a sweat, but she's got it done against Minnesota in the past, 6 out of her last 8. In her last 10 games, though, only 5 out of her last 10. So, yeah, I'm not too interested in that. Her rebounds at 3.5. In her last 10 games, it's a great hit rate. So the rebounds I can dance with, but I'm not willing to dance on the points with her. Brittany Griner over 5.5 rebounds. This looks like a tough one. I don't trust Brittany Griner to get boards. 6 out of her last 8 games against Minnesota, she's hit this in. And in her last 10 games, 7 out of her last 10. With Brittany Griner, I think 4 rebounds would be so much better. But who's going to offer Brittany Griner for 4 rebounds, So I'm checking it now. It's not even available on here. So Brittany Griner, I'm not taking 5.5 rebounds. I do not trust her to get that, especially because Brittany Griner unders is one of my plays. Diana Taurasi, over 11.5 points. Maybe if we take over 10, perhaps. That's pretty bitch-like. Let's look at 9.5. Minus 410, 475, 137 on Prize Pick. So it's probably one of those goblin things, taco things, who knows. But she has hit over 9.5 points in 5 out of 7 games against Minnesota. And in her last 10, only 6 out of the 10 games. So the hit rate's not good there. Even though I would definitely think she can hit 10 points against them, the hit rate's not good enough for me to take. We've got Sophie Cunningham for 4 rebounds. 196 on FanDuel, 356 on Underdog. So this fits the criteria. She's cashed it in 5 out of 7 games against Minnesota. She had 4 rebounds against them in the last game. But she's only hit this in 4 out of her last 10. So I'm not willing to go down with that. Let's switch this filters up and look at the 2024 filter and see if we can find anything else. We've got Diana Taurasi for over 2 3-pointers made. So she's hit this in 26 out of 37 games this season. Tough matchup, though. The Lynx allow the second fewest 3-pointers made. In head-to-head matchups, she's hit in 4 out of 7, and in her last 10, 6 out of the last 10. She has, however, hit them in 4 consecutive games, 2 3-pointers. And the thing about Diana Taurasi, she's going to throw them up, averaging 7.5 attempts. But there is a world where she goes 1 from 7, right? So she's done it many times before. But I do like this better than her to get 10 points. But the odds aren't necessarily great to get 2 3-pointers, I don't think. Actually, they're not too bad. Let me check to see what type of odds we're getting here. 3-pointers, 2. Yeah, the odds are pretty good for Diana Taurasi to get 2 3-pointers. Even Kayla McBride, Bridget Carlton, those odds aren't too bad either. They're acceptable for the bitch-ass parlay is what I'm saying. So, all right. She's playing at Minnesota. She's had a stinker there before, 0 from 4. She got 24 minutes. She only played 29 minutes in that last game. Yeah, look, I lean to the over there for Diana Taurasi. I just wonder, is there something else? But this is the 2024 hit rate, so she's hit it well over the season. I don't know what I'm bitching about. I'd love to get better recent form, but look, 4 out of her last 5 is pretty good, right? Is it not? So I think Diana Taurasi to make 2 3-pointers is going in the BAP. It is. So on the BAP right now, we've got Nafisa Collier for 8 rebounds, Kalia Copper for 4 rebounds, Diana Taurasi to make 2 3-pointers. We're at plus 260 right now. So we're looking pretty good. What were the odds on the other one that we had? Plus 333. So we're almost at similar odds as the last one. And if we put those 2 things together, we got some juicy ass parlay right there. So, all right. We've gone through Diana. These 2 already on there. We've looked at Diana's points. We don't want to touch Brittany Griner's rebounds. Bridget Carlton. Here we go. 2 3-pointers. So Bridget Carlton has hit 2 3-pointers in 28 out of 41 games this season. It's a 68% hit rate. This Mercury team allows the most 3-pointers made against them. In head-to-head matchups, she's cashed this in 3 out of the 5 games they played this season, 5 out of 9 overall, but she's only hit 2. And if you look at her attempts, her volume's not sky high. Like Diana Taurasi, she takes 7 3-pointers a game over her last 10. Bridget Carlton takes 6, which is pretty good. Her recent form is excellent. But on average, we're looking at almost 2 3-pointers less. She does shoot them at a higher percentage, but she has just finished on the 2 quite a few times. What'd she do in the last game? She was 2 from 5. So I don't mind Bridget Carlton over. Man, I'm not too sure. She has hit it in 4 straight games, though, which is nice. 8 out of her last 10 games, she's hit 2 3-pointers. The only game she didn't hit it on was against Chicago, who defend the 3-point line a little bit better than most teams. But this Mercury team is the worst team at defending the 3-point line. So she might see some more opportunities here. Only took 5 against them. The last time she only took 3 and made 2. I do like her to go over. Something's not sitting right. And I don't know what it is. We got Alana Smith, Kayla McBride for 2.5 assists. I know I can't get that. Kayla McBride. All right, let's switch it up. Let's go to the last 5 games. What awesome hit rates do we have in the last 5? Courtney Williams to get 5 assists. I can't get 5. I'd have to get 6. And 4 is not going to suit me. Cloud, we spoke about it. You can add her if you want, but I'm already playing her as a straight bet. Griner, we don't trust. Bridget Carlton, we just went through. So Bridget Carlton is probably the only one I'm sweating on here. I would just hate to add this. I would hate to add this and for it to be the one that costs us, but fuck it. So if we add Bridget Carlton to this, we've got Collier for 8 rebounds, Copper for 4 rebounds, Diana Taurasi and Bridget Carlton for 2 plus 3-pointers. We're looking at plus 450. So much better odds in this one compared to the other. And we're only playing 4 legs as well. So they both got 4 legs each. The reason why is Kalia Copper to get 4 rebounds and Diana Taurasi to make 2 3-pointers. The odds on those are much higher than the average odds on the other one. But all of these picks fit the criteria that we've set. So let me jump back into Outlier just to see if there's anything we might be missing. Bitch ass parlay, best hit rate in the last 10. We've got that. We've got that. We're passing on Natasha Cloud. You could add Kelsey Mitchell for 15 points in the first one, but let's not get crazy with it. 4 legs is enough. It's insane to put 4 legs into a multi to a parlay, really. All right. So I don't think we're getting anything more on that. Now let me just lock this stuff in with you guys. So 2 bitch ass parlays here. The first one's plus 333. The second one is plus 450. And for these 2 combined, we're looking at $23.83. So it's plus 2,283 for those of you guys in the US. That gives us an implied probability of 4.2%, if you wanted to know. But it's pretty crazy. So this is how I want to play it. So I get these promotions. Get a bonus bet back if I lose these by more than 1 leg. By 1 leg. We're going to do, so I'm running with 50 units at the moment. We're going to do a half a unit on each of them. So we get $25 on each. $25 pays 108. And then the next one's $25 pays 137. And then on this crazy bastard down here with all of them together, we're going to power play this bitch, give me an extra 10% on top of it. We're going to put a 1/10 of a unit. So for me, that's $5. My normal unit is 50. We put a 1/10 of a unit. Let's turn $5 into 131. So all up, we're betting $55 to hopefully turn into $377. So I'm going to go ahead and submit these now. I'll share these to everybody on Winnable, free, and VIP to say these are the bitch-ass parlays I've put together. But first, I need to quickly chop up this video and get it out to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. A bit of a parlay building session. We've got some bitch-ass parlays on the 2 games on this upcoming set of the WNBA. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section and we can build these BAPs together all night long. I appreciate you if you made it this far. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 10,000. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.